to have the best possible care. So whatever it takes,
I fucking did that. So I've been listening to this book lately, Empire of the Summer Moon, and it's about like the rise and fall of the like Cherokee and other like Native American Indian tribes.
Okay.
It's really fucking good. But so essentially, when it starts, it's they've got notes from this woman Rachel Parker. So her and her siblings, and I think some other relatives, were kidnapped by this tribe, and I think as the story progresses, it's how she's almost like accepted into the tribe.
Okay.
But the only reason that happens is at one point because the Indians are brutal in it. Like at one point she's got this 18-month-old son and they just kill it in front of her, like in a really graphic way. And so she's like, wow, I got no purpose to live anymore. So one of her captors, she just starts fighting her because she's like, they'll definitely kill me for starting this. So all of the like men from the tribe gather around and just watch these two women fighting, and she fucks her captor up, and then the men are like, okay, and then the captor's mother comes and she starts trying to fight Rachel Parker, and Rachel Parker like puts her face in the fire pit, like is fucking her up, and basically after that they're like, okay, you're cool. I'm really interested to see how that story progresses. But we were watching American Primeval today, and I was wondering if there were any ties between the two.
So that wasn't a true story though, right?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, 100% true. It's the accounts of this woman, like, and different accounts from around the time. It's in like the 1850s or something.
Holy shit. That's actually quite recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
But while watching American Primeval, it becomes really clear that basically it's just a time where no one was safe. Like men were rapists and murderers. You know, women and children had no safe place, and just everyone was trying to kill each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That's been my reading lately. Not that I'm reading it. I won't lie, I'm listening to an audiobook.
That's fair enough. I struggle to maintain concentration with books these days.
Yeah.
Although I did order a book recently called Ego is the Enemy.
Ego is the enemy. Okay.
Yeah.
What's that about?
It's about how ego is the enemy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds self-explanatory.
Yeah. But I'm excited to read it. It's still coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
When I kind of was just starting out in the pod, I just ordered The Watchmen, the graphic novel.
The Watchmen.
That's like Zack Snyder did a movie of it, and they also put out a series. But it's set in the 80s, and it's about this like ragtag group of superheroes. And they start getting killed off one by one, and they're trying to figure out who's doing it.
I don't know if I've watched that.
It's really good. It's really like it's all about crime and punishment and justice, and how essentially there is no justice. Yeah, there's one character in it, Rorschach. He's like the only one kind of fighting for justice, and he's like, everyone's dogs, like the world's gone to shit, and I am vengeance kind of deal.
Do they have superpowers, or is it just...
No, for the most part, like one of them's like a billionaire. Yeah, they all are skilled in their own ways, but the only one who actually has powers is Dr. Manhattan, who he gets accidentally locked in this machine that like atomizes him, and he reappears a few months later, and he's like blue, and he can like shapeshift. He can like create something out of nothing. He essentially becomes a god from it, but he gets to the point where he's like, I can't stay on Earth anymore. Like, I can see into the past, I can see into the future, I can see everything, and there's no need for me here, like with you peasants.
It's fair enough, I guess. I recently watched Mystery Men again.
Oh, yo.
It's so good.
Mystery Men is good.
It's such an underrated film, and not many people know about it.
No, yeah, I think Ben Stiller has a few of those movies that are just maybe more art house or lesser known. But it's got such a good cast too.
Yeah, you'd think it would be more well known based on the cast.
Yeah, like I was, that actually reminds me, I've been listening to a bit of Tom Waits recently. Because he's in it, he plays the guy, the weapons expert. Heller, say it with me, Heller.
Weapons expert.
Yeah, and they go to his place, and they realise that he only makes non-lethal weapons.
Oh, what, the fork guy? Spoons guy?
No, the you just watched this movie.
I mean, I just watched it. It was like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was baked out of my mind.
He makes the gun, that like shrinks, the bubble gun that like shrinks the clothes, or
yes,
or it makes that he's got that machine that just makes you say really mean things to each other.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Well, so you got tornado in a can.
Right. That's right. I can't remember his face though. I know what you're talking about.
He looks like an old hunkered, chewed up bubble gum.
Okay.
If that helps. And he's looked that way since the 70s.
Is that the guy with the pinky knife?
No, that's the main bad guy. That's, what's this, Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah. Well, he also looks like a bit of a chewed minty.
He does, yes. Jeffrey Rush. You look like a chewed minty. So, my brother has been staying this weekend, and I haven't seen him since he was like 9.
True.
He's 16 now. And low-key, like, the ball's on this guy. He hit me up. He's like, hey, can I come down and stay with you and your family for, like, a little bit over the school holidays? I was like, yeah, sure. So he booked himself a ticket, come down. And to the point where, like, I didn't even know what he looked like when I was at the airport. It was just I almost got up for a random a couple times. Oh, is it him? Oh, no. But then, obviously, I haven't changed much since he's seen me last. Well, not physically anyway. But, yeah, typical teenage boy, like, I've pretty much just been, like, interviewing him. So I would sit down and I'd be like, you into girls? And he'd be like, yep. I'd be like, how's that going? And he'd be like, pretty shit.
Oh, okay.
Like, you ever been in a fight? Yep. How'd that go? Pretty good. Yep. And that's about it. But we had a bit of a... Because I hit him up, I was like, what do you want to do? Like, the first night he was here.
Yeah.
And he's like, go for a drive. And I was like, oh, yeah. Can you drive? And he's
How
like,
old is he?
He's 16.
Oh, okay.
And he's about to go for his restricted license. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, you drive me around. So he drove me around for hours and we just chatted so I haven't heard from our dad in like over a year.
Does he live with him?
No, he lives with his mum.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, so how's he doing? And he's like, oh, he's in jail. And I was like, oh,
What?
Okay, what happened there? And apparently he was, his wife left him.
Right.
He met some homeless woman who, like, Loki just moved in with him. And then, for whatever reason, he drank a bottle of vodka before work, a whole bottle, got pulled over, like, before 8 a.m. and blew a 900.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then he got sent to prison, and then the homeless woman stole all his shit, and then his landlord kicked him out.
So he's homeless now?
No, he's in prison.
No, but once he gets out of prison, he'll be homeless.
Well, maybe he can make a deal and stay in there. Who knows?
Shit. Guess that's what happens when you drink a bottle of vodka and drive.
Yeah. Don't make poor choices, is essentially it.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted... of course I wanted to see it, but I wanted to invite you on to talk about Wairua a little bit.
Okay.
If you're interested.
Well, I want to clarify that I don't have like the site. I'm just more intuitive.
Okay. I mean, either way, this is all interesting concepts for me. So before you came, I just looked up what Wairua means. I learnt that Wairoa is a place and Wairua is what I was thinking of. So that's cool to know. So Wairua, Wairua, is a living soul. Māori believe that the sneeze of life, the Mauri, Mauri, was breathed into the body and created humankind. The combination of the physical body and Mauri created the Wairua. And Mauri brings life, and Wairua allows us to relate with others. So I thought it was a pretty cool explanation. And I guess with that whole concept of like the site, that would be really helpful, meeting a person and just being able to get a read on them before saying anything, or, you know, or just seeing someone across the room and being like, I get a bad energy or I get a good energy from that person.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're interested in talking about any of your experiences with that or your thoughts on it.
Yeah, we can talk a bit about that.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Well, I currently know nothing.
Okay.
I had to Google this word.
Right.
So that's my extent.
Well, I think there's a different word for someone who like is intuitive in te reo. But yeah, I found it to be like, okay, I'm learning more to kind of keep it to myself when I get a gauge on someone, because it's you're then put in an uncomfortable position when you tell someone, oh, you know, I get bad vibes from them.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like planting that seed in someone else's head.
Well, you're not only planting a seed of doubt in someone else's head, but you're also like, you're kind of creating kind of like negative energy in terms of like you'll be doubted by others.
Right.
And just be, you know, just being a bit of a bitch. When it's kind of more than that, I don't know. Yeah, it's not really quite something I can describe how I'm able to do that, but I don't know. I think Victoria's very similar in the way.
Yeah,
that
she definitely gets a vibe with someone.
She can
Like
get a
she'll meet
gauge.
someone and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, actually I can get a good vibe with them." Or sometimes she's like, "They're not the goods." I don't know why, but and then pretty much every time, like a couple months later, we're like, "Oh yeah, no, they're not the goods."
But it's the why that I find easier to pick up on than most people.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I think everyone is intuitive, and it's just whether or not you're open to that.
Okay.
You just kind of have to work on it if you are open to it.
Yeah.
And trusting your gut is a huge thing.
Is it? Would you say it's kind of like a muscle? Like.
Yes, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like any muscle, you learn how to use it and it gets stronger over time. I really doubted it for many years and just kind of, and it got me into trouble. It got me into a lot of, you know, situations that I could have easily avoided had I just listened to it.
Oh, so you feel like ignoring it put you in danger as a...
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Like, that's a thing, like, even intuition, I don't feel like that's something I've been gifted with. I've definitely been in my fair share of circumstances where I'm like, why did I not see this sooner?
I think some people it comes more naturally to them, but I think everyone is capable of tapping into their intuition. it's just like how you described it. It's like a muscle that everyone has.
Yeah. Do you believe that everyone has that?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm no better than anybody else.
No, yeah, and that's not what I'm trying to say. I guess it's just like, because I don't feel that within me, I want to learn more about it, but it does feel foreign. But then parts of what you were saying, so I did cover this on a previous podcast, how we were talking and you brought up for lack of a better word, like I guess a prophetic dream that you'd had, and then I shared my experience of having my dream about my dad, and building that fence and driving by that area and seeing there was a fence there, and that the history that occurred in my dream was things that happened in real life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sparked a bit of curiosity, just having that thought. And actually, like, I was really touched by that conversation we had, and it really, it almost felt like meeting you for the first time, which was really cool. And I just felt really like almost excited and empowered after our conversation, like to continue that conversation. Which I guess is why we're here today.
Maybe it felt like that because I'm just kind of more open to having those experiences and having those types of conversations and listening to my intuition more since having that dream.
Yeah.
It really opened a door for me. Yeah. Should I repeat the dream?
If you feel comfortable doing that, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. So I had a dream where I met one of my best friend's dad, and he's passed away. And there were, I guess, it was quite symbolic, and there was symbolism within the dream that I would have never known. And which was later confirmed to me by my friend, that it all rang true for him, and all the symbolism within the dream.
And even
reality.
Parts that you didn't realize what they were until they were explained to you later by your friend. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I won't go into detail because it's kind of long and might be a bit boring for most people.
That's what I guess this is the principle of it, that you tapped into something and you got a read on this man that you'd never met. He's obviously passed. But when you shared that with his sons, like, they were both like, "Whoa, there's no way you could have known that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bit concerned that they would feel sad that they hadn't received that dream from their dad, but they both kind of said to me that they don't really know if that would have been really upsetting for them. And, they were both glad that I got that dream, and the first thing I wanted to do was just to tell them about it and pass on that message to them, and they seem to really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's really cool. A friend of mine, her and her partner broke up last year, and I don't really dream normally, but since they've broken up, I've had 2 dreams where her ex-partner has been in the dream, and in the first dream she looked really unwell. She had black eyes and like almost looked like her soul was dead. And then the next dream I had, she looked okay. We haven't been in contact with her at all, so I mean, I'm hoping she is okay, but I know she was on a bad road after the breakup, but kind of isolated herself as well. So but yeah, there's been a lot of things that have got me thinking, like, I want to learn more about how this works, because that's got to mean something. I don't know what, but
I think most dreams are messages. There are some dreams that can be really random and kind of have no meaning to them. But I think, if it relates to your reality, it's most likely a message.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And especially like that chat we were having last time we spoke about, you made an interesting point of like, we've been here before. And that...
Not everyone has.
No. But saying that
believe you and I
specifically about you and I, and just that thought alone kind of got the ball rolling in my head, or, the Rubik's Cube turning or whatever. And I guess depending on how you view reality or you view whatever we are, I guess maybe the more open-minded you are about it all, the more you can maybe tap into that.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because that's what faith is. And when you have faith, you are more open to having spiritual experiences. That's
interesting you should say that, like using that word in particular, faith, because that's something I felt like as a religious person I was missing, or, I didn't have that. Whereas this concept of us kind of returning for some purpose and these meat sacks being our vessel, that, I don't know, something about that just rings a bit more true than like, don't be gay or God will, rape you, or I don't know, like whatever.
I think it's because, like, within a religious context, faith has a different meaning. Faith can look like a lot of things.
Yeah.
You can have faith in yourself and have faith that you are going to be okay, and have faith that you're going to make it to the end of the work week and have enough money in the bank.
Yeah.
It can look like a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just being a part of a religious organization and having faith that there is one God and, there was a manifestation of God that you have faith in and you believe in and you follow.
Yeah, like it's interesting in that American Primeval we've been watching, part of their battle is with the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, and that they're really portrayed as like dogs, like, just fucking shit up in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of those like offshoots of Christianity are a bit cultish. Yeah. When they add extra rules that kind of don't really have any purpose other than to dilute someone's personality or autonomy.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's a rat race, but it's just painted up differently. Like, instead of racing for financial gain or to be at the top of the heap, it's like racing for God's affection. But the fact that none of us know what that looks like is that's the part that I can't concede to. Like, I can't have blind faith in something that there's no guarantee of. Like, I can get down on just living your life and trying to doing your best to be good to people. Like, that all checks out, but there's something about doing it for that kind of gain that takes the love out of it, because you're like, I'm just doing this so that I get put into first class in heaven, instead of being on, with the plebs in hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I think the concept of hell is like ridiculous.
Yeah, well,
I think the reality of it is that if we don't do right in this world, if we don't go from a low vibration to a high vibration, we will have to continue coming back here until we sort it out.
Yeah, and someone explained it to me once as like, essentially, if you don't do what you're supposed to do here, whatever that looks like, it's almost like a baby in the womb developing, like, and you'll come out the other side essentially being like spiritually retarded.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what Baha'is believe. That we are here on this earth to develop our spiritual arms and legs like a baby in the womb. And there is truth to that. But I think with a lot of religions, it's really half-truths.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the time that those religions were founded. They've, the reasons why we're here and what we should be doing while we're here has been formulated in a way that the people of that time can understand. But we're in a time where we have a different vocabulary and can explain in more detail what exactly that looks like, rather than maybe using analogies or
and I guess even going back to the Bible, talking about Adam and Eve and talking to the serpent and all that, like, I've read through that and I remember doing studies on that and being like, this isn't literal. Like, this feels like, I don't know the word for it, but where you use expressive language.
Yeah, and examples.
Yeah, but really, because a lot of old religions believe in like ritualistic sacrifice and the drinking of blood and stuff. But that's not aged well,
No. I don't think there's any reason to kill anything in the name of God.
Yeah. But, and then in saying that, I guess with everything going on in Israel right now, like, that's a bit of that too,
Well, yeah, most wars are started because of religion.
Which is probably the greatest irony of all, like,
yes.
Like, the whole purpose of religion in its essence is to unite the peoples, not divide them.
Yeah. But it's because of ego and people's motives and distorted motives that dilute the truth of religion.
Yeah.
Because I believe the root of religion, there's not a huge amount wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's what people do with that information that it gets twisted.
Yeah. And
when people add shit that,
well, it's even like when... Oh, come on, memory. Don't fail me now. It's kind of when, when the Prophet Muhammad died, he called upon his amanuenses to essentially, like, take his final will and testament. And they were like, don't worry, we got you. Like, I'll remember. No one wrote anything down, and that's why there's so many different sects of that religion now, because no one could agree on what the Prophet actually wanted.
Wow. Because didn't Muhammad actually advise against having multiple wives? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know if you're right or wrong in that, but that checks out. Like, even the founder of the Baha'i religion, Baha'u'llah, he said that you could take more than one wife,
yes.
but only if you could love them equally.
Yes,
and then his son
impossible.
came back and said, well, you can't. That's not a thing. So, But then, like, is that a grey area then, So what if some dude's like, I can do that.
I think a lot of people have
I'll fucking do that. I'll take 2 wives.
I think a lot of people have enough problems just having one partner.
Yeah. I think I was talking to Victoria about that, She was like, would you want, like, more than one partner? I was like, fuck no. That's so much admin.
Yeah. Where would you have the time for that?
Oh, God. Nah. No, I'm not cut out for anything. I would not be cut out for cheating, anything like that. I'm just like, the time I have is precious. I don't need more on my books. And also there's the moral part of it where I'm not interested in that anyway. But like, if I was, I could not logistically make that happen.
Well, the concept of it is purely like sexual, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't really have anything else
Yeah, and
to it.
yeah, and that whole concept's so stupid too. Like, really, you're gonna fuck up everything you have for a bit of pleasure right now that you're immediately gonna regret, because like post-nut clarity is a thing, and I would bet that 100% of people who cheat, after they've cheated, they're like, "What have I done?"
That's what I just don't really gel with like open relationships either. They're just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how there can be no,
Repercussion?
hard feelings on either side. And
Yeah, well, I mean, near the end of my marriage, we kind of looked into that. Rather than just being like, okay, we need to break up, it was like, let's try having an open relationship. And it just didn't work because we're both jealous,
it's just impractical.
Yeah.
And the people that don't get jealous probably shouldn't be in a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel like there's something missing inside of you if that doesn't affect you,
Absolutely, yeah. And it just shows that you can't do commitment. You're not a committed person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, I don't judge people who live that life, but I don't really understand it fully.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the modern take on things, eh? Like, you do you, just know that I don't get it. But no shade, like, we're all learning.
Yeah.
And everyone sucks, basically. Like, we all suck in one way or another, so we can't really be calling people out on that bullshit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Unless you're a pederast. I do not fuck with a pederast. I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all pretty interesting. And speaking of, actually, like, I feel like that was a thing in the Middle Ages with the Vatican. Like, you get all these people who kind of proclaim, or not proclaim, they have this proclivity for younger sexual partners. And rather than being stoned to death or shunned, they become monks and priests. But then they kind of get put in a position where they have unlimited access to young people.
Yeah. Well, it's probably, I don't know, maybe like it's the cycle of abuse, like it happened to you and then you do it to someone else and it,
Maybe. I don't know, though, like...
But the irony of it is interesting because, it doesn't say anything in the Bible about being gay, but it actually says something in the Bible about, not having sex with children. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of...
Yeah, well, yeah. Yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world's a fucked up place, and it still is. It's just in a different way. That was a point I brought up a couple of weeks ago, just like, where are we headed? Are we getting better or are we getting worse than we've been? Because
I think there's going to be a massive split
in
between...
society?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that have no interest in changing their ways. And there's a huge amount of people that, do want to change for the better. And so I think that gap is just going to widen until we're just in two completely different worlds.
Yeah. And it's hard to know what that's going to look like too, because for one, like, most of us are really glued to our devices. Like, that's become a staple part of everyone's life. Like, how many times have you lost your phone and been like, fuck, where's my phone? But like, you're alive, like, you're breathing, everything's cool.
Yeah.
It's a brick connected to radiation,
Yeah.
like, but it's our everything.
I don't think the issue is devices. I think the issue is the content that we interact with, and
They're designed to
watch.
be addictive,
Yes.
Well, not necessarily the phone itself, but the content available on it.
Yeah, but you have control over the content that you watch and
Yeah.
observe, and it has a profound impact on your mentality in general. Like I used to watch so much fucking brain rot, and also like a lot of like true crime stuff, and it made me really like kind of depresso and anxious
I feel like
to be in public.
desensitize you too. Like,
Yes, it does desensitize you to gore and to gruesome stories, and and I truly don't. I don't believe that as humans we're supposed to be aware of what's happening in the whole world. It's too much
it's
for
a lot
a
of
human.
information. Yeah.
It's just too much for a human brain to comprehend and to take in. It's really has a huge impact on our mental state.
Yeah.
We're designed to really only know what's happening in our community.
Yeah. And like I feel like that concept of your communal village or your community even is gone. Like, other than the fact that I know our neighbour from before, living here, like if I didn't, I would never talk to them. Like, I don't know any of the other neighbours. That's just not a thing. Whereas even when we were kids, I remember, parents inviting the neighbours over and would hang out with them and get to know them a bit, but it's just not a thing anymore.
No. I remember going to the neighbour's place too when I was a kid.
Yeah. And I'm happy about it too. I don't want to fucking know my neighbours. Like, and is that bad? Is that...
No, we don't. I don't know. It depends on the type of neighbour you have, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I know we got that one dickhead across the road who was, if there's a car parked out there and it doesn't have a warrant or reg, he'll call the council. He's gotten us all like $250 tickets. Cunt.
Does he have
Hey
nothing
Bradley,
better to do?
stung you with that, eh?
Yeah, all the time.
Motherfucker.
Some people just don't have anything better to do than to just cause problems in other
Just to be a
people's lives.
dickhead, yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh well, that is what it is. But, yeah, like, it's almost like social media has depleted us of our social ability.
Yeah.
Like, I think so many times, if I'm in an environment, I don't know what to say, I don't know anyone, I'll pull up my phone. It's like a little safety net, You're like, okay, well, nothing's happening. Scroll.
See, I used to do that all the time, and I realised that just creates a bigger gap between the people having a good time and then you, because you look like you want nothing to do with what's going on in your environment.
And I know even for myself, if I see someone there on their phone, I'm like, oh, okay, you don't care. You're not interested right now.
Exactly. I've been trying to keep on top of myself for that, because, I mean, if you're in a social setting, it's good to socialise. It's an important skill to, gain. It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
And I think after COVID, a lot of people kind of lost that muscle ability.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But just, working on it is important, because it's a huge part of being a human being. It's being able to talk to people and
it's really
having
important.
a back and forth conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And I remember going to this party one time and I didn't know anyone there except for maybe one or two people, and they were cool enough that I wanted to be there, but I didn't know anyone else. And that whole night I just would go around introducing myself like, hey, I'm socially awkward. And it worked. Like,
At least you're honest.
yeah, people were like, that's all good. Like,
Yeah.
come over here. And that was just a way to break the ice. But otherwise I was like, I don't know how to just jump into a conversation. with any of these people, you know?
And I think, yeah, when you're just honest about that, people kind of cut you a bit more slack.
Yeah. And it was more of a like, they'd have a laugh about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always been a big believer in that, like, either when you meet someone, make them laugh, or when you're leaving a place, make them laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Leave them laughing, because it's hard to leave a bad impression if they're laughing at something you've said, or even laughing at you as you leave, but, you know, at least that intention was there. Like, sometimes I'll make a dick of myself as I'm leaving just for a laugh, because it's something pleasant, you know?
I'm famous for the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
I love an
rate
Irish
those.
goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking going around to the whole fucking party saying goodbye to everyone.
Yeah. I
already
pretty
said
much
hi.
do that every day at work. Like, it hits 5 o'clock and I'm out the back door. Like, everyone's kind of maybe having a beer at the front. I'm like, no, I'm going home.
Yeah. Peace.
Not even that. I'm just like Homer into the bushes.
Yeah. Or I'll go, just go to one person and be like, I'm going to go. Bye. Say goodbye for me. And just fuck off.
Or one I used to do when I was overseas, like, I remember sometimes, because we'd have heaps of social events, and sometimes I would have like 4 or 5 spots I'd have to hit in a night, and always it was just like, message the bro, hey, can you call me at this time? And we'll make up some emergency. Oh shit, oh, what? Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I'll see you in a sec. And then just never go back. Go across town, go to the next thing. Be like, I just got to take this phone call. Walk out the door, leave, not come back. In the morning, I've got like 13 texts like, where did you go? What happened? Who got hurt? Who died?
I feel like if someone did that, though, I'd be a bit concerned. You got to at least tell one person that you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, well. That was just my style, though. Like,
Yeah.
for Victoria, she talks about, when she was younger, they'd go out and it was always like the same kind of group of them. They've had a tight-knit group. That's what I'm trying to say. I was thinking thick as thieves. Tight-knit group. And so they'll have stories of going out together. When I was younger, I would go out on my own and I would get into really like not good situations, and it would just be me by myself, no cell phone.
It's quite ballsy if you're socially awkward.
Yeah. I
couldn't do that.
Mind you, I feel like being medicated for my ADD has not helped with that. I feel like I'm a little more maybe aware of myself and more like, I'm not going to say anything right now because I for sure don't have anything PC to say, or like, or the thing that I'm thinking of saying is kind of fucked up and I need to gauge if these people are with that.
Interesting. It kind of did the opposite for me.
What's that?
It made me more social, just being medicated, yeah.
Yeah, I guess getting rid of maybe some of that fog, or...
I just had a lot of internalized, like, anxiety.
And lots of voices at once.
Yes. Yeah. And so I just, was more quiet. Yeah.
I think for me, like, I just so wanted to get high or get lit. So I was like, I would find people, and people would mistreat me too, but I would just like find people to hang out with. We'd get loaded, and then I'd be loaded. And that's what I was looking for. And saying that now makes me sound like my old man. But at least it's panned out better. I'm not in prison. But a big part of this cast, I think, is... I think people are starting to... Well, if anyone's watching, that is, they might be starting to pick up on the fact that I have ADD, because I topic bounce so much, or I'll be mid-story and I'll be like, side note, and then sometimes I'll come back and sometimes I probably don't even finish the idea. But we were talking about the Irish goodbye, and I was talking about my work, and it made me think of this geezer we've got at work, and I don't know why, but I can't stand him. He's a really nice old man, and he was probably a really great dad to his kids.
Bro.
He's just this little old Chinese man, and I fucking can't stand him.
Why?
He's so nice too, and he
What's wrong with you?
I feel like I have no tolerance for the elderly. Maybe I don't know where that's come
Well,
from.
you're gonna be old one day.
Yeah, and I hope people treat me the same. Like, fuck you, that's your fault. You're old.
Oh.
Nah. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm an asshole. But anyway, this geezer the other day, we're kicking the ball around as we do, and
Literally?
yes, at lunch break we kick a ball around. Which is an upgrade from when I was bricklaying, because our smoko game was rock in the bucket, where you throw a rock in the bucket. But now we kick a ball around with this crew, so that's cool. Old boy Colin comes along, and he's kicking the ball around, and the office girls will often come out too and sit around and play. And one of the girls was sat there, kind of like this. And he goes, "Oh, what have you got under your jumper?" And she goes, "My stomach." And then everyone spent the rest of Smoko trying to fuck this guy up with the ball. It was so funny. I was like, that's what you fucking get.
Oh.
But
I think some old people don't really have much of a filter.
nah, and I think he was genuinely just trying to like jump in the conversation.
Oh.
I was like, it's your fucking problem.
I don't know, I feel like that's pretty bad.
Yeah. But it's crack up too, because he got that bung finger. He's got this one finger that like leans out like this. And I hit him up one time, and I was hoping it was going to be a cool story. I was like, what the fuck's up with your hand, man? And he's like, I was playing volleyball one time, and the ball hit it, and it just misplaced the finger and never went back to normal. It's almost like he got like two thumbs now.
Huh.
Yeah.
He might be good at climbing. Can he use it?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, enough on that. What else? What else is cool? What have you been watching? What have you been reading?
I haven't been reading, but that's why I ordered that book.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching The Crown lately.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not a royalist, but Harrison, my partner, got me into it, and it's really good.
Is it like a little bit trashy, or?
It's not trashy. It's just like a drama show.
Period piece.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. Like learning more about the royal family and like digging up all their dirt.
Yeah.
And fuck, they got a lot of dirt, man.
I bet.
The man, so Queen Elizabeth's father wasn't actually supposed to be the king. It was supposed to be his brother. And his brother stepped down from the role because he married a woman that he wasn't supposed to or
Like
something.
wasn't a royal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this one episode where it gets found out that he was like for the Nazi regime.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, it cuts to like these photos of him like laughing with Hitler. No shit. It's fucked.
That's a little bit like, I've heard some stuff about Prince Albert essentially being tied in with like Epstein's Island and all that.
No, that was Prince. It wasn't Prince Albert. It was Prince.
I feel like
name?
it was, but I don't know enough about it to know. But I know that he's a royal, and
Yeah.
he was like, he basically talked about how he went to New York and he stayed with Jeffrey Epstein, and they were like, well, what the fuck? Like, obviously you're involved then. He's like, no, like, but this was after Epstein had already been found out, and this prince went and stayed there for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the way he was
And
trying
it's-
to play it off, he was like, I don't know anything about no kids, but
And there's a photo with him with one of the victims. And she gave like a detailed account of him like forcing himself on her, like dancing with her, and he was like sweating profusely, and then he came up with some bullshit excuse that he actually has a condition where he can't sweat, and that was his excuse for it. It couldn't have been him.
Well,
'Cause
that
he can't
checks
swim.
out.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to remember his name.
I swear it's Prince Albert.
No. Oh my god, it's gonna irritate me. It's Charles.
Fat hands.
Yeah, sausage fingers.
What? Is that gout?
I don't know. It looks like some sort of condition because they've gotten
Can
bigger.
you put up a little square of that in the pod, please, Bradley? Just a picture of Prince Charles's fucked up hands. Thank you. Yeah. Because apparently, like back in the day, like that was the disease of kings. Like,
Really?
If you get gout, like obviously you can afford to eat really delicious food.
Well, I think you get it from like eating red meat and drinking lots of beer.
Not just, but just any rich foods, like lots of seafood, greasy food. I had the bro, and he said his dad got gout. They're Islanders, and he hit his old man up. He's like, "Oh, do you need me to bring anything?" He's like, "Bring me a bucket of KFC," and he did. I was like, "He's in there for gout. Like, don't give him that." And like, it's not. I think if you just look after yourself a bit, it's not a difficult fix. But it's interesting, like the type of ailments you get from just not looking after yourself, right? Like I had spells of vertigo a few years back that got really bad. And I remember this one morning in particular, I was driving to Mahi and I just felt fucked up. I'd had vertigo all weekend. I was like, I need to be on today. Like my boss is coming in. Like I need to be on. So it bought me 2 big Mothers, like the energy drink. So it's like a litre worth of energy drink I had. So I smashed those back while driving to work. And I'm just like drinking my vape, like drinking it the whole way. And I got out and I fell over. And I was like, fuck, what? And I Googled it. And it was like, if you have vertigo, avoid energy drinks, avoid nicotine at all costs. And I was like nicked up to the tits, like just drink a litre of Mother. And so I was like, fuck. So I filled up a 3-litre bottle of water and I just like started chugging, chug. And it got to like probably 10 o'clock and I could barely stand. So I just hit up my boss. I was like, look, I gotta go. And he was such a dick about it too. And so I just had to sit in the driveway for a bit till the spins stopped enough that I could drive.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but we were out in Eastbourne. So like, and the roads from there back out to the hut are quite windy. And that with a spinning head, I was like, I put on some smooth jazz and I was like, if I'm going to crash out, like, at least I want some nice tunes.
I think about that sometimes, like, you know, what if you crash your car and you've got like a really embarrassing song on? The cops have to like...
Boom, 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 boom. Like, Finger Boys.
Yeah.
My one that especially when I was working at Eastbourne, I would often play Claire de Lune by Kamasi Washington. It's got these like beautiful horns in the chorus, and just the thought of like that playing while yeeting off of a fucking cliff into the ocean, like just that thought was so beautiful. But then I was also like, don't kill yourself right now.
That would not be ideal.
No. So I think actually I've got to stop playing that song while I drive because I'm like, oh, that would be so epic, but not worth it. But I'll probably put that in my will, I reckon. I'd like that song playing.
Okay.
if I die first.
You most likely will. Because I think men are more likely to...
More likely to die?
I think they die earlier than
Women don't
women.
die, only men.
Well, no, I think women typically live longer than men.
I think that's an old wives' tale only because men do stupid shit.
No, it's because women are more likely to go to the doctor when they need to.
That's facts. That's fact. I've been needing to go to the doctor for so long.
And that's why I think it's also when you have a partner and you're in a straight relationship, you're more likely to live longer because your partner is more likely to convince you to go to the doctors.
What if you're in a gay relationship?
Well, then you're fucked.
Maybe. Yeah.
But if you're a lesbian, you'll be fucking all good.
Yeah. Lesbians are on.
Yeah.
They know what's up. Yeah, we've been hanging out with lesbians lately, and some of them are. The thing I'm learning about lesbians is they have no filter. They'll like just call that shit how they see it, and I've heard some wild stories lately, and I've got to know some people really intimately, completely by accident.
I feel like people should, people should have less of a filter, but not overshare, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a fine line between like being an oversharer or a trauma dumper to just like being someone who's open.
I'm trying to get better at that. Like I'm a big oversharer.
It happens.
And it's not a good habit to get into.
I remember I was talking to one of the guys at work not long after I started there, and he was like, if you need like therapy or anything, they offer those services. You just need to talk to one of the bosses and they'll sort that out for you. And so I ended up sitting down with the boss's wife and talking with her, just seeing if she could sort that out. And I low-key like trauma dumped on her pretty hard, and she didn't talk to me for a little while. I think I disturbed her a bit. And I was like, sorry. I didn't even mean to. I was just like, well, look, I've had some shit happen and I haven't yet found the right person to talk to about it.
Well.
And then she got me in with this guy, and he was a really nice guy, but he wasn't equipped for what I had to say either. And I pretty much just said to him, look, I'm just going to like sort it out on my own. And yeah, we ran out of sessions anyway, but he was like, yeah, he was excited for me. He was like, I want to hear about the pod, and I hope you're doing well, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure.
I think people are capable of sorting themselves out. I don't think everyone needs to go to therapy.
No.
Depending on, your personal issues. I think some people, really, that's their only option is to go to therapy because their trauma is so extensive.
Yeah.
But I think you can, sometimes sort yourself out just by processing things in a healthy way and using your discernment to know what's good for you and what's not.
I think understanding that you're alone in this journey of life, like regardless of whether you've got a partner or family, like it's a solo journey. It's nice to have company, but it is a solo journey.
And you only need yourself in this world.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone else, because at the end of the day, when you're old and melting, that's all you'll have is yourself.
Old and melting, yo, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
because look at how many old people who have family and they never fucking see them.
Yeah, they just put them in a cheap home, and I've worked in those homes, and I would tell you right now, I never want to fucking end up in one.
Yeah. So you may as well, while you're young, learn how to be content with being on your own.
Yeah. Become a bit self-sufficient, learn about yourself, eh? Mind you, it's hard to learn about yourself without contact with other people. But I feel like there can be certain experiences you have, especially depending on the age you are when you have them, that can really make a shift in you. For example, I learned from a really young age boys don't hurt girls. I would have been like 7 or 8 and was playing a bit rough with this girl at school and ended up choking her. And I had no idea that this was like...
How did you end up doing that?
I don't even know, but like we were just roughhousing and I took it a bit far.
Okay.
So I'm walking to school the next morning, and this dude in a black car, and he looked like a rough fucking dude. He was like, You Eli? And I was like, yeah. He's like, apologize to Fran or I'll fuck you up. And I was like,
Oh my god.
I ran to school. I was like, Fran, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. And I learned my lesson after that.
Fuck yeah, you would.
But then we had like, I think we had a field trip like a week or so later, and he was like a designated parent there, and he just kept looking at me like,
Oh my god.
But it was good, I learned that lesson
Yeah.
off the bat, and I was like, you do not do that.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you get fucked up.
Yeah.
And now, I've been in a position where I've been the guy who's like, you don't do that, or I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then I've fucked people up.
Well, all experiences are lessons,
Yeah.
and you'll keep experiencing the same thing until you learn that lesson.
Yeah. That's a trippy thought, eh?
So many people are in perpetual cycles, and they are like, why does this keep happening to me? Oh my god, my life sucks. But it's because they're not learning anything from it.
Yeah. Well, even, I guess going back to my old man, like, he's got maybe 3 or 4 kids. He doesn't really have anything to do with any of them now. Some he definitely doesn't have anything to do with, and others just nothing to do with, But that's almost like he just keeps getting these opportunities to do it different,
Yeah.
Like, that's his 5th DUI that he's gone to prison for. He's been to prison for it before. It's like, bro, like, take a break from the drinking, you know, or at least don't drink and drive. Like,
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that it's only been 5.
I mean, who knows? But he told me about prison. He said it fucking sucks, so he must have been gutted when they sentenced him.
He clearly hasn't learned anything.
Well, that's it. And, who knows? Maybe that situation will arise again when he gets out. I think he's got like 9 months in there. So,
9 months, that's a long time.
well, he's done it before. That must be shit too, being in prison. They'd be like, what are you in for?
Yeah.
Drinking and driving.
I've heard that in prison, like the highest, not the highest. The coolest thing you can go to prison for is a bank robbery. Like that's
pretty rad.
You get a lot of notoriety in prison for. Is that the right word?
Notoriety, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like...
Because it doesn't really, hurt anyone.
Yeah. Surely there's going to be some crimes, that'll be like, what are you in for? And you say it and everyone gives you a wide berth. They're like, whoa, this guy's a psycho.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a friend whose dad went to prison for kidnapping and torture. And I was like, that's a guy you avoid.
Yeah.
What are you in for? Kidnapping and torture. Bye.
Yeah. Well, people wouldn't fuck with you.
No. Anyway.
What's on your list?
No, I covered everything on the list. This is just about Wairua, and this is about Empire of the Summer Moon. Yeah, I definitely recommend you listen to that book. It's really good. It's interesting too, and another fact I just kind of remembered looking at this was, you know how like the names of the natives that you hear, like Squawking Eagle or, Little Rock or whatever, the names that they actually had weren't that cool. Like one dude was called like Coyote Vagina. The main dude, that Kwana Parker, he's like a half-breed, and they talk about him, he was like 23-year-old chief.
Half-breed?
Yeah.
Do you mean like mixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how they refer to him in the book.
Okay, right, okay.
And so he's basically, he becomes the chief, and they describe this scene of him like riding, 23-year-old man riding, shirtless on horseback, covered in war paint. He's got the feather crown, like a necklace of bear claws, and a satchel full of scalps. Like he's scalped people. And but his name translated to the smelly one.
Yeah, he would probably smell.
But he's like clouted, but his name is like smelly one. Or even the one that creeped me out the most is this woman, and her title was she brings her family, or she brings her relatives. Just this bitch always bringing her fucking like in-laws around or whatever. Just creeped me out. Yeah. Cool. Do you have anything you want to promote at all?
No. I don't know. I don't have anything to promote.
All right, that's cool.
I like to keep it private.
Fair. All right, I won't even tell them your name. At Radford, that's me. Yeah, I guess we'll call it there. Cheers for coming out, and
Sure.
see you next time.